Welcome to the August Potpourri. I have no idea how it's going to go because I don't know who's going to be talking when, but that's okay. We're here to assist in any way we need to. Anyone that has pictures from Starfest, if you can bring them up on a USB key, or if you can just sort of describe them to the audience, that'd be great. Yeah, mime, that would be excellent. Or interpretive dance. Remember that? Yeah. For those of you who have been here for a while. Anyway, all right. So we have a few named speakers, notably Riz Kala. Riz has been to my house many times to borrow many telescopes. So I happen to know that he does telescopic stuff. Raghav will be, there he is. No, this, yes. I don't know whether everyone saw the pictures that Rag posted of the latest Aurora. It was super cool, and he'll tell us about that. And then we're going to have a whole bunch of talks, and no one has given me USB keys. So again, interpretive dance is expected, and I hope you came prepared. So I guess our next meeting is probably a speaker night, but it's not up on our website. So I don't officially know. We'll announce it later, but we'll announce it just before break. Will that be before Ron or after Ron? Anyway, okay.
Hi. So I'm Rizkala. Everyone calls me Riz. And it's been about a year since I joined the RASC. It will be in like 6 days because my membership's gonna expire, so I should get on that. Yeah, so I'm just here to talk a little bit about my journey through astronomy. I'm going to grade 12 next year, and I've been kind of interested, actually very interested in astronomy for the past, 3-ish years. And my journey kind of starts in grade 8 when I first picked up the book, A Brief History of Time, read through it, understood nothing. I should probably pick it up again, only to understand probably less. But yeah, so I first came to know about the RASC when I was at U of T St. George. Last year for a week, I did a program where I went through kind of workshops for all of their science departments. And the first day, they actually let us see this, which was their giant solar telescope. And I thought it was pretty cool, to say the least. And yeah, we were all cramped in this tiny room in their observatory, the top of the McLennan building, if you've ever been there. And I don't have a very good photo, but that's what you could see on the screen. And you could see all the little sunspots. And that was kind of my first kind of experience with something tangible in astronomy. I've always really loved the physics side of things, which is why I picked up the book in the first place. But I never really had something tangible to like look at. And that was kind of my first experience with that. So it was really cool. And there was someone there who I was talking with him. He's kind of my age, I think 1 year older. And he was like, if you like astronomy, you should like, have you heard of the RASC? Blah, blah, blah. They do this and this and this. I thought, oh, that's actually a really good idea. I'll check them out. So now I'm here, which is cool. So, first scope I ever borrowed, as Alan said, there were many. There are many actually. First I reached out to Alan and I said, I'm just trying to get into beginner observations. What should I borrow out? I borrowed out this one, which was an 8-inch Dobsonian. And it was our first time ever using a scope, so you can imagine how that went. But thankfully, we were able to get some very low resolution photos, you could say. Kind of as our first, I want to kind of walk you through my journey of, first not so great stuff into my kind of getting better, almost, I wouldn't say good, but better experiences. So our first kind of experience was with the moon, obviously. And I mean, what can you say about the moon? It's amazing, right? You see it almost every night, so it's great. And our second really wow moment was seeing Saturn. Okay. And the photo I'm about to show you isn't that great because it was taken on a phone. But this was our very first encounter seeing Saturn, and it looked like this. Okay.
So that's a phone adapter on that dog.
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Probably, yes.
So you can't really see the wow from this photo, but our expressions could very much say so. So yes, that was I love capturing the moons actually. That was really. So I can't remember what's after this. That is also taken by a phone camera, surprisingly, without a mount as well. And it was taken by my dad at the back over there, actually. Yeah, so this was the, first ever, you could say, astrophotography with a phone camera that we took. And it was, this was the photo that was like, oh my gosh, I got it on camera. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's cool. So, after having that scope for a while, I wanted to get into some astrophotography. And surprisingly, this does not start with the astrophotography course that I was in, unfortunately. But I actually did have my first kind of moment with another RASC member from the Hamilton chapter. I don't know if any of you know him. His name is Edward Mizzy. And he comes to my school like every year to give presentations to the ninth graders. And he gave a presentation to me in grade 9. So in February or January, I think, he came in and my chemistry teacher was like, there's this one student who's like super into astronomy stuff, you should talk to him. So I talked to him. He told me a bit about his astrophotography and his like incredible photos that he showed us. And from there, I was like, okay, that's it. I want to kind of start. I want to, get started. So I started off with borrowing another scope and a camera. So I borrowed out this one, which I'm pretty sure is in Alan's trunk right now, because I'm going to borrow it again. Because I am going on a cottage trip tomorrow for a couple days out like 4 hours north, and you got to use the dark skies, right? Like whenever you can. So, so yeah, so I first borrowed this 120 millimeter refractor, and it was my first experience with a mount too, with like a equatorial mount, which had its ups and downs because I didn't plan that one. I didn't plan that one. But I captured this. So that was my first ever successful, I would say pretty successful astrophotography moment. I produced this image myself through like Photoshop and stuff. This was here are the details actually. So yeah, 120 millimeter diameter, 600 millimeter focal length. The ISO was pretty high because I didn't realize how to use the mount that good, so I kind of had to like compromise, short exposure. So yeah, it's only 11 minutes, but I think it's pretty cool. So well, I did have one, but I didn't know how to use it correctly. So so now after this comes solar eclipse photography. And this was at this point the astrophotography course led by Dan over there, Mr. Gasparotto. It was so much information that really helped actually. So thank you very much actually. So yeah, I've been looking into the what was it called, the Sky Guider Pro, I think you mentioned in your talk. So that was so nice for like, because you search up YouTube videos and you think like you kind of, people have so much information about it, but you don't really have it in like one spot, so you don't know what's going on. But then I had the eclipse photography, which was definitely a journey that I like to go through. So we went down to right there, little town called Selkirk. which was yeah, we went down to Lake Erie because I would not accept seeing less than 3 minutes of solar eclipse time or totality. So me and my dad, my brother drove down for I don't remember how many hours the drive was, like around 2-3 hours, I think. And we managed to find this spot on somewhat of like a beach, and that was not too many people there, which is surprising, right? Because Niagara was, we all know how Niagara was, but we set up the scope on the beach. I don't have photos of of us on the beach or stuff. I didn't couldn't get those. Yeah, we want to see the results, right? So set it up, and I'm going to show you a series of photos. And these are special to me because not only was it my first ever eclipse and it went successfully, but I think it was a miracle because it was cloudy the entire time up until totality, where maybe like, just within the total, like the 3 minutes, it was a little bit clear, and then went straight back to cloudy. So it was like a stroke of luck. So I'm gonna show you a series of images that get progressively cooler, I would say. So this is the first one.
Okay.
And I don't, have like too crazy gear. I just had the scope and I timed it so that I didn't have a solar filter to track and watch like how it goes. I just made sure to like stay safe. Whenever once it's totality, I gotta act, right? So I had this, I used various exposures. I started off with, I think larger ones and then went down to smaller ones to get more detail. You can see the solar flares there. That was really cool because you can even see them with your naked eye. I don't know if that was really cool, but, keeps going. You get the beads. Some brighter ones. Until we get to the really like dazzle photo that I have here. So yeah, and details are there. Yep. So lots of YouTube videos, lots of hoping things work out, and it ended up working. So I was pretty happy about that. Since then, I'm proud to say I've had no successful sessions since then. So hopefully this weekend and the week coming, I'll actually produce something, which is cool. So yeah, that's pretty much it about my journey so far. I was at U of T again this week, which marks a year, not for science, but for math this time. So I've been to 2 U of T campuses in the same day. So you can imagine how to commute. But yeah, so it was honestly, it's been a pleasure being here for a year. I haven't come to many meetings, but I definitely plan to in the future. Hopefully when I can drive, so my dad doesn't have to. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you. Yeah. Thanks. So, for the eclipse and for the Orion Nebula, I bought my own T-mount, screwed it on to the camera, and then screwed it into the, like where your eyepiece would be on the scope. So, yeah, I didn't have to do too much like configuration there. It was good. Yeah. Mhm. Any other questions? Good. Awesome.
Thanks again. That was excellent, Riz. I've been, as Riz alluded to, I've been sort of a side partner on this. At least I see him every once in a while picking up something new, so that's great. He also alluded to the astrophotography course that Dennis put on, which is four episodes. They're all up on our YouTube channel, so you can actually watch them at any time and rewind and watch a little bit again and then rewind it again. And what? No, he did a really great job, and there is a lot of data there, but it's you might want to get an idea what they're about, and then you can refer back to them if you want to look up something particular. Starfest. So welcome to Ragav.
Okay, so we'll start things off with the Starfest because that is the event which happened first. So as a starting here. Okay, good. So that's me and my brother Aman. We both arrived on the evening of, oops, jump ahead there. We both arrived in the evening of Friday. It was pretty nice, clear weather. This one. It was a nice, clear weather. Uh, first I I think it's in slideshow mode. Yeah,
there
my
must be
bad.
there.
Just 1 second.
I was actually gonna say we could try this. Test.
Is the arrow just
Test,
to the,
test.
next to the center
Test,
button,
test.
maybe?
Yeah, no worries. I can go next. I was just wondering if I can get it to full screen without going to slideshow mode. It's okay. This is fine.
Test. Dies. Okay. That doesn't work.
No worries. I'll just speak louder. It's okay. So as I was saying, we arrived on the Starfest on the evening of Friday. First, our priority was, as always, as everyone would be trying to do once they arrive at Starfest, to set up their tent before it gets dark, because you do not want to looking for pegs in the dark, because you are not allowed to turn on the lights. So fortunately, it was lunch break, so I was not missing out any presentations at that time. As soon as we set up, I rushed to my first presentation, which was about JWST. I forgot our name because I don't have notes with me. I was hoping to make a Elspiros, perfect. She basically, what I was able to understand from her presentation about her work, what she was focusing on studying the species that trapezium cluster in Orion Nebula. And she showed some really nice pictures and how she was able to discover and notice the progress in the development of new star systems close to the trapezium. And as you can see, she made absolutely brilliant case justifying all the money which was being spent on the investment and the launch of the JWST. And that is the light bar where she compared the previously what the data they were able to acquire from the Hubble Space Telescopes. And then she compared it with the data acquired by the JWST. So there's significant difference between them. And then she also mentioned the data which was previously almost invisible to them in visible light, but now it was visible in infrared. And then the second presentation, which I attend by Mr. Michael Daly, if I'm not wrong. Daly, yeah. Yeah, he was one of the co-team members who worked on the Bennu mission. He tried to give us more of an insider's view, which was not much revealed in the media, which you could come across when you try to read about the OSIRIS-REx mission. So one major discovery which I could take away from his presentation was that initially they expected the surface of Bennu to be like a beach sand, very fine porous, but it turned out to be very uneven. And that was thanks to all those features, new establishments around the surface, what the surface of Bennu looked like were from because of the contribution of a component which was provided by the Canadian scientist. And then he shared the results, what they were able to acquire, and how significant that data really came to be once they realized that the surface of asteroid Bennu was not as they initially thought it would be. I was not able to get the video which he showed. The video basically showed they call it land and go. Basically, they were just trying to touch and go, or tag impact, or you could say a tag maneuver to just quickly land on it and grab a sample as much as you can and go away. They were not trying to land on it because they had more sophistications, but he showed a video. If you can imagine really fine iron fillings around a magnet, from first perspective, they look really solid and rigid. But as you touch it, they change shape. That's what happened during that tag maneuver, which was touch and go. As the Bennu was getting close to the asteroid, it just kept going. There was no surface. it kept going. And then as it was going, the sensors on the instrument realized, oh, it's been too long. We should maybe shoot the maybe we should shoot the thrusters to get back up. When we see the video, maybe on YouTube, we would think, oh, that's a rebound. But it was not a rebound. It was a pre-configured maneuver after a certain time. And that was one of our greatest, you could say, discovery, in my humble opinion, that asteroids are not as solid as you think them to be. They are very soft. You can actually poke a hole into them with your finger. And he mentioned if there's a boulder on the asteroid Bennu, you can squish it with your hand. It's so soft. And this is an image of Milky Way, which I captured with my phone. I don't do astrophotography, I'm completely visual, but I'd still, just for a memory, I took a picture with my phone. So yes, the weather was not as bad as forecast was telling, at least until midnight.
Yeah.
And and if you're wondering, that's Jupiter and Mars and Pleiades. Now they do not rise until 3 a.m. So I had to stay up that long because I still had, I've invested so much time, money, and especially convincing my brother to join me. So I said, why not wait there? So weather was indeed bad after midnight to 2 a.m. But after 2 a.m., it got brilliantly clear and I enjoyed it. And that's just like day two, because on day one, I realized maybe one tent is not enough. So I set up a second tent. Yeah, that's my van.
Some people sleep in the van.
But the problem with sleeping in the van is that once you are tired, you're trying to pack up at 4 a.m. The problem with many vehicles, I'm sure you must have noticed it too when you attend star parties. Many vehicles nowadays, as soon as you unlock them, they light up like Christmas tree. So I was not trying to getting yelled at. So that's why I had tents. So on the day two, I did try to explore some of the vendors because on day one, I arrived a bit late and the vendors start to close up by 6 p.m. This was one of the first time vendors visit. So this, sorry, I forgot to mention. So this was my second Starfest. So I already had a bit know what to expect from the event, but Starfield was one of the new vendors which I had not seen last time. And many of the other members were also really looking forward to their presentations because they mentioned they have really good equipment, but they are also very expensive. So all the scopes you guys seeing here, they start from the left about $3,000 and go all the way to 1,000 on the right. And this is one of my favorite presentations on day two. This was by Clay Davis. He a very passionate, very fantastic presentation about making Newtonian Doppler telescopes from the scratch. When I say scratch, I mean grinding the mirrors down to the optical tube. So he did share his great tips how to make a clear telescope or planet killer telescope. He mentioned it should have a best mirror quality available up to 8 inches or plus with the f6. So sufficiently fast enough. Multi-point primary mirror support, fastidious start test collimation, active falconing before and during observing, 2-inch gap between mirror and cardboard tube wall. And he really emphasized on using a cardboard or corrugated sheet, which is well protected, because I'm believing because of the thermals. Because I later had an opportunity to talk to him about the mass-produced aluminum sheet Dobsonians or Newtonian tubes, and he said he did not like them very much because they are very thermal dependent because they get cold at night, and they also have a heat impact too. So he preferred cardboard optical tubes. And he also emphasized on the very thin and slightly curved spider or the secondary mirror. And good tracking mount, which I'm sure you all must have also seen how you could say custom telescopes often have really large trackers to hold the optical tube, which I guess provides more maneuverability especially when you're looking at the lower altitudes. And this was the telescope which he brought with him. He called it Caroline. It's a 10-inch f6 scope. And he also featured it at the Stellarphane. And then there was a presentation by the president of Starfield. It was mostly about astrophotography and the introduction of artificial intelligence into post-processing, which astrophotographers are doing nowadays. And he did brought up a discussion panel as well. And you can see if in the middle, that's the famous Astro Backyard gentleman from YouTube. And the other presentation, which I really liked so much was, I forgot, I think it was Mr. Sandness. Yeah, Bob Sanders, perfect. He did a presentation about hunting the asteroids or comets or near Earth objects. That was really fascinating because it somewhat involves visual, but he was suggesting how astrophotographers who have the equipment like CMOS cameras, I don't really understand because I don't do astrophotography, but he said how they can contribute in the future research as well of finding near Earth objects. And he really showed what he and his team has been working on, especially in Chile, which supposedly gets over 300 clear night skies. And that was the presentation by Dr. Sarah. She did an excellent job in showcasing the research she and her team has been doing in the exoplanets and how they were utilizing the data acquired by the JWST. I also had the opportunity to ask her a question in the question session. So I asked her, I understand that JWST is really focusing too much in finding life beyond solar system. And they also, because they are in the presentation, they also mentioned they were worried about the data contamination due to the host stars of the exoplanets they were working on. Then I was curious, our own solar system has two really good candidates for life. So Saturn's moon Titan has its own atmosphere. Jupiter's Europa is considered to have a liquid water beneath the ice sheet. Why are they not being considered a good candidates to be studied by JWST if it's really so good in detecting elements necessary for life? And she mentioned it is certainly on the table, but they are the targets where they can actually send probes. So they are expecting future missions to send more probes on those targets to study more precisely relative to just looking at it from the JWST. And that's another shot from the second night. So second night was really, you could say, the forecast for the second night were absolutely disappointing. Many people had already left by the evening. That was surprising. I had never seen before. The campsite was getting actually empty by the second night.
Had the valleys filled up with water yet?
No, they have no fill up. No, fortunately, no. Oh, that reminds me, the water. On the first night, just before I went to sleep, there was rain. So I was sending whoever other members I had contact details of, I was sending them text, cover and hide your scope. It's going to rain in 20 minutes. But it fortunately didn't rain too much. It was more of a drizzle. So second night did indeed had a bad forecast, and during door prizes, after door prizes, when they announced that they were going to have a sky tour with a green laser, and one of the staff members just said on the mic, "Did you mean the sky is getting clear if they're going to have a sky tour?" And like everyone just cheered up. So we did have a clear sky until midnight only, and I was able to capture a shot of the south. There is a bit of a light pollution, but still I managed to get a pretty good picture of the southern sky with just my phone again. You can clearly see the Lagoon Nebula and Trifid Nebula.
Yeah.
And can anyone recognize the bright object in the middle? Yes. Oh, just my cell phone. Okay, can anyone recognize this target? It's Andromeda, one and only. Yep.
Handheld?
No, on the tripod.
You cheat.
How many seconds?
It's about 4 minutes. It has an automated astronomy mode, which does not how do I say, allows any, even though I want to sometimes reduce the ISO a bit, but it will not allow me to do any configurations at all. But that's a shot I was really happy about because I always wanted to capture Andromeda in a really broad shot. Okay. And that was the last image. That's me and my brother trying to pack up really quick on this Sunday morning. The reason for that was in the forecast, it was really heavy rain, expected starting at 9 a.m. and it was expected to last until at least 1 p.m. And I really wanted to get out of it because my van's rental was also due by 1 p.m. So yeah, that was Starfest for me, even though I didn't get to win any door prizes, but that's just, how do you say, cherry on the top. I didn't get the cherry, but that's okay. But, during the table swap session, I did manage to score 2 amazing items. So one was a red dot finder scope. Anyone would like to guess how much I must have paid for it? No. Yep.
Oh.
It was brand new in original packaging. Anyone would like to guess?
$5.
Yep, that's correct. Alan goes. So I paid $5 for a red dot finder scope. And I also bought a focuser assembly for a Dobsonian or a Newtonian tube. Would anyone like to guess how much I must have paid for it?
2-inch? 2-inch one?
Yes.
Oh, okay. 149.
Nope.
79.
No.
49.
No.
Oh, jeez. $25.
Nope.
Oh, 19.
Nope.
What? You were cruel. Did you have a machete in your hand or something?
Nope.
Okay.
Yes, that's correct. So I paid $5. That's why I love Starfest so much. Because that is the astronomy community who just want to share stuff because he was not there to make profit. He was just happy to share his items, which he didn't need it anymore. So that's also one thing why I love Starfest so much. And I'm really looking forward to attend it next year. Now let's move on to the second surprise, which was Aurora.
Up one. Up there. Yep.
Oh, there you go.
There. Don't go too far. Go to desktop. Yep. Okay.
There we go. Okay. So Aurora, as everyone must have already know, was visible on the evening of August 11. It's the same day when I arrived back from Starfest. So yeah, you could say that was again a big stroke of luck. But unfortunately, I had already given up my van, so I was down to my bicycle again. As soon as I saw this forecast when I came back in the afternoon, I was like, okay, it seems to be really promising. Maybe I should get in touch. Maybe we can plan a trip quickly. So I got in touch with a few friends, but none of them were available. They had some of them had, because it was Sunday night, right? So many of them had work next morning. Miss Swapna had also posted by 9 p.m. that she received a notification on her Aurora app that the KP index was rising. And as you can see in this image, so this is a screenshot from NOAA Aurora dashboard, where they publish really dynamic table of next 3 days of KP index forecast. So should be visible here. Okay. So that's forecast for August 12th. The time zone is UT, which is 4 hours ahead from us. But yeah, it was still very convincing. I was really expecting to be a good light show. Here's the chart being plotted. It was rising close to 6, which is promising, but not too promising. But if you are really south in Southern Ontario, like close to Lake Ontario, you should travel north somewhere, at least north of Milton, to be able to see it. But to my surprise, I'm also a member of a WhatsApp group. It's called Astro Plans. They are just not all of them are RASC members, but they're a group of astronomy enthusiasts from Mississauga and surrounding areas. And one gentleman, when he did receive the same notification on his application, he went all the way to Melville. It's a town west of Hamilton, I would say. or Gulf. Yeah, west of Gulf, because that was the only place which had clear forecast, at least according to Astrospheric. So he went there, and by 1 a.m., he shared a beautiful image of bright green band on the horizon. And I was up fortunate because I was monitoring the graph on the dashboard, what's going on there. As soon as I saw this image, I said, I should at least give it a shot. Even if it's cloudy, I don't care. I will be happy even if I get to see a green halo in the sky or slightly on the horizon. So I took my bicycle, went outside, and tried to take an image of the northern horizon. So that's just image from my driveway, and that's Ursa Major.
Yeah.
You can see a slight greenish band. So I rushed back in. That's close to Trafalgar and Upper Middle in Oakville. That is Ursa Major, and you can see a really faint green band of aurora. So I rushed back upstairs, grabbed my coat, grabbed my tripod, rushed outside of the town as far as I could. So I went. If people who live in Oakville, they might know. Have you guys know Highway 407 Trafalgar
Yeah.
carpool, which is a go? Yeah. So that's where I was looking for because it's far enough to be away from the city lights, but close enough to not get lost, especially when you're on a bicycle. So this was my second attempt in a nearby park. I can still see the green band here, but I was still not happy about it. So I said, what? I'm already outside. Let's go a bit more. So this was the image captured just north of Dundas and Trafalgar. As soon as I saw the color, I was like, I need to take a picture. I don't know how long this peak will last because it's already pretty low.
What time is this?
This was around 1 a.m.
1 a.m. and that was taken with your phone
on a tripod.
on a tripod, and what sort of exposure?
Again, it's completely automated. It doesn't allow any manual configurations at all.
Okay. You just go click.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
As long as it's stable,
5 seconds.
yes, it should be around 5 seconds. And I wanted to that's the iconic picture which everyone was talking about. So I didn't know how long it will last. So I wanted to take a picture just to something to look at once I get old. Yeah, I have seen Aurora, and people were asking me, what does this really mean? So I told them it meant I have seen the Aurora twice. This was my second time.
But that's
That-
4 times.
One is for which one? So that's a code. First time I saw the Aurora was on May 10th. I also did a presentation 2 months ago. After this, I was still happy about it, very happy. I was able to return, and it was visible with bare eyes. I didn't really have to use the camera to see where it was, because sometimes you have to use the camera, but it was right there in middle of the road. I'm not sure it would play the video. It had a video too. Let me see if I can get the video. Yeah, so
Yeah.
this is a small. Is there a loop feature? Yeah, never mind. It's okay. So this was still pretty close to Dundas and Trafalgar. I still wanted to push further because I still did, if you can see on the bottom right, there's still a trees. So I didn't have clear view of northern horizon. So I went ahead. As soon as it struck 2 a.m., it just exploded. When I say exploded, I will show you the video too. It literally exploded. It came on top of my head. On top of my head at that time, it was Cygnus constellation. And the red pillar shot straight up to the Cygnus, and it fluttered like a voltage arc. It was amazing. This was captured, the 407 Trafalgar Go carpool. They have a bus stop there. So it has a clear northern horizon just north of 407. So I was able to set up there. They were lit up, but not towards north. So north was dark. Yes. That's where the shot came out really nice because that area did not have any light dome around it. So yeah, I did try to take as many pictures I could to record the expansion. Yeah, you have a question? It's a Pixel 6a. Yeah, there's also a plane. I was just imagining what those passengers in that plane must be witnessing as they were taking off. So yeah, that if you can look carefully, that Cygnus right there. So this is the Cygnus constellation, and the red aurora was right in front of my head in Oakville. Uh, I think I had a thought about it. Why didn't people really felt so good about the forecast or the cloud cover? Maybe there was a play with the lake effect because sometimes around lake weather gets dramatically clear. It's called lake effect. I have an image I can send to the group later. You guys can really see how everything would be covered with clouds, but except the Great Lakes, they would have a clear sky boundary around them. So yeah, let's try going back to those videos. Okay, it has a loop.
Try the dot, dot, dot.
There you go.
Wow.
So you can clearly see the expanding.
Yeah, that's what sort of time frame is that?
This image was taken, it took 4 minutes to record everything. So it's more of a time lapse
Yeah.
for 4 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
I wish I could get this bar away. Oh, perfect. Now it does. Oh,
Move the mouse away
I don't know.
off the screen.
I work in IT.
Yeah. Click off. Yeah. You didn't write the software, though. Microsoft didn't. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. That's good. I don't know. Oh, yeah, so yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just wanted to show you guys because the best
Yeah.
part of this video was that if
Up
if
at
you
the
can
bottom.
if you can look at the bottom right, that's where you can see the clouds getting lighted up by the aurora.
Oh, that's why you were so interested. Make it smaller then.
Yeah, let's see. I believe the notification comes back up because it's in a loop. Okay, here we go.
Oh.
That was it. Oh, this one last thing. So, yes, the Aurora show had ended by 3 a.m. Although I was still keeping an eye on the KP index, even while I was out. I'm thinking because whenever you look at those Aurora forecasts by NOAA, they kind of plot them on a globe, and you can see the oval shape of the Aurora. I'm assuming the moment I saw that explosion, that the lowest point of that oval must have been over Lake Ontario. And as it passed, it never really came back to the same, you could say, magnitude. And one last thing I wanted to share, since it was already by 3 a.m., Jupiter and Mars were really nice and rising on the eastern horizon. So that's Jupiter and Mars. They were getting closer and closer every day. And that was it. Thank you very much.
Like people ask questions as they went, but any questions or no? Okay, great. Thank you.
In many ways, my wife's year has two seasons, gardening season and looking at gardening catalog season. And a year ago, she found from somewhere halfway around the world a tomato called Eclipse. And They're very interesting. The inside, there's no red to them at all. The inside is has very few seeds, but obviously enough to grow. She got seeds, and it would give her great pleasure if all the ones that I have were taken. So during the break, I'll have them out on the table, and I'd be grateful if people would take them. They taste great, and if you want to taste some, I also have some Malden sea salt that we can sprinkle on if you want to do that.
Yeah. Okay, so as promised, I'm just sharing some announcements on upcoming meetings. September 6th is our next potpourri, so it's not that far away, just after Labor Day. September 10th is Riverwood. So as usual, look out for the emails based on weather, etc. September 20th will be the first of our 10 speaker nights that are coming up for 2025 season. The good news is we have lined up most of our speakers, and most of them will be in person. Our first speaker is going to be a gentleman from York University who's going to speak on climate conditions on Mars. And his name's Dr. Alex Inan. Please watch out the website for more details, etc. The rooms, etc., will be posted as we go. So keep an eye on John's announcements and the updates that Rob makes on the websites as well. With that, I'm going to pass it over to John to take us through the rest of the stars. And I know that Dennis is going to be speaking at some point too.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. I don't really have a formal presentation. I just took some pictures when I was up. I assume you all know about Starfest. It was last week, and I was there on the Friday and Saturday, just for a few hours each day. I didn't even sleep over. I actually went home at night, both nights, and others showed up there on Wednesday or Thursday. Quite a few of the people here were there. We had 30-something Mississauga Center members, and there's including their friends and family as well. And when I got there on Friday afternoon, it was quite pleasant, a little windy, if I recall, and it looked pretty promising for the Friday, the weather. And from what people told me, they just had a few drops of rain, maybe Thursday, where in Guelph, where I'm from, it was pouring rain that morning when I went up. So in the afternoon, I saw a talk by Ron Breacher, just a non-professional astrophotographer who does absolutely amazing work. And I remember seeing his stuff a few years before. Yeah, he's from Guelph, actually. Yeah, north of Guelph. Yeah, he's a toxicologist, actually. And but his astro photos are absolutely amazing. He talks like he looks like a hippie, actually, with the long hair and whatever. And he talks like anybody could do this. Yeah. And we're looking at this stuff. It looked like stuff from Hubble or JWST now. So that was one of the afternoon talks on Friday. Anyway, I just took Friday. I didn't actually take any pictures at all. I took my pictures on Saturday at 4:30ish. I can't remember what time. A group of us went to Pebbles buffet in Varney. There were about 18 of us all together. And none of us thought to take any pictures, but that was great as usual. It was lots of fun, and we got back in time for the talks in the evening. And anyway, if we that's Fred there with his van, and if we can go to the next picture, please, Rob. And who's that? We'll have to get closer. Yeah, thank you. There's Dennis. Okay. And we were kind of scattered out. Usually there's this spot that we're all clustered around, and there was this huge trailer there. And it was there when Leslie told me it was there before before she arrived even, and kind of messed things up for us. So we were kind of scattered all around this intersection and in the middle of the grass there. Anyway, next photo. Okay, that's John Gola's setup tent and his rental van. And I think that might even be John, and there's Sheila. Huh? Yeah, yeah, right.
I think Ragav, that's how much Ragav paid for that van.
Yeah.
Yeah. Only one light covered.
Yeah, okay, yeah, right. Well, it was a little windy when this was taken. It might have blown off. Okay, next picture. There's Leslie and John. And that tent, that was, quite a few of us were sitting around there waiting and, when we had nothing to do and just quite a few quiet moments. And next. That's Dallas Perez, one of our newer members. It was her first time at Starfest, and that's interesting. She's got that tent set up with her car. And she's going to be doing a presentation next Potpourri meeting, I believe. Unfortunately, she couldn't make it tonight. Actually, we had several new members who came out. I was really happy about that. And they all seemed to really enjoy themselves. And a few of them said, "Oh, I wish I would have known this," Anyway, next one. Okay, Rob Hamilton, and I think that's Brent Gasson.
Yeah.
No. Next. And that's Robin Metcalf. Yeah. Next. She's kind of shy, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. Chris Sosha and Leslie exchanging tape, I think.
Yeah.
Did you see that line did you see that line in the grass? That's the road, actually. Keith, and I can't remember that fellow's name. No, I don't think it's Chris. No. Yeah. Okay. If I had the list of attendees, I would be able to look it up, but anyway, sorry about that. Okay, keep going. And that's the big trailer on the right that I was telling you about, that was right where we usually are. Yeah. And see in the background, see? That's the big tent that serves as an auditorium and where the banquet is held and whatever. So as you can see, we're still pretty close to it, but we couldn't actually walk directly towards it because it was so full. We ended up having to go to the left and all the way around. It was a little tricky, actually. So next. Just an overview. Next. Okay, here we are in the auditorium, ready for a talk. You'll recognize some of these people. Okay, next slide. Or a picture. No, actually, no. I'll look after. I actually have the list. Okay, this is Dr. Els Peters, who spoke about to me, Raghav already talked about it. I'm just going to say that without repeating too much of what Raghav had to say, all comparing the imagery and the data that you get from the JWST versus Hubble. I mean, there were things that were just gray, and then all of a sudden you have all this detail. And she started getting into some of the science, the new science that is evolving as a result of this. And all this data is out there. And at some point, she started getting into the details. And then that's what she kind of lost me. Okay. And but it was really a fascinating topic, though. Next. That was Friday night, the 7 o'clock talk, by the way. Okay. Just to prove that I was there. Yeah, right. Oh, come on. Yeah, I didn't shave. Okay. So it was key. Okay. Next. Yeah. Okay, this is Dr. Yeah. Yeah, Dr. Michael Daly. Yeah, this was actually my favorite talk. Okay. I mean, we've had several talks about venue, including speakers here, including Dr. Kim Tate, who was here not long ago and told it from her perspective. He told it from his. And there were some differences where he got into, you know, some of the things that went wrong, things that you wouldn't have known. And I love how he described how the whatever you called it, the thing that landed, the capture device, how it just kept sinking in. And luckily there were timers that told it, okay, stop, better stop now. And another one that says back out, because it was actually, it would have gone right through the thing probably. Yeah. So that guy was great. Swapman, if you could get this guy here, that I would highly recommend it. So.
He has talked to our group.
Oh, he has actually. Okay. Oh, I was wondering if it was him. Okay. So it was him. Okay. Okay. Thanks, Randy. Next. Okay, some more people from our club. There I am again. That's it. I'm not doing selfies anymore. Okay. Okay, I'm not sure how we got out of order, but I missed the one of Sarah Seeger and her talk on Saturday night. She was really good. She talked about exoplanets and whatever and what's new there. Some of us were looking forward to her talking about Venus and the possibilities of life there, although she didn't really get into it until somebody asked a question later, actually. So, but she was actually a great speaker. So, this is Matteo Stati with the antique scope. I tried getting a picture and I didn't, you know, not very successful. He's set up right beside the Hamilton Center with the 36-inch telescope that used to be owned by Attila Danko, and he donated to the Hamilton Center. They're going to continue bringing it to Starfest every year. And I mean, if anybody is interested, I talked to some people there. They do public outreach from their own observatory in Hamilton and Flamborough. And it's there almost every Friday they do that, I think. So. It's absolutely beautiful for such an old scope. Oh, the scope is beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, there's no question about it. And I tried getting him, but he kept moving and whatever and was busy. You know, I don't know. He did. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Executive of the RASC at one point. I don't know if he was cool, but yeah, it goes back.
And I'm pretty sure Matteo talked about it too. Actually. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, next. Yeah, that's Matteo again. This time I with permission, I actually had my flash on and that didn't really work out well either. Yeah.
Get yelled at?
No, I asked permission. So again, this is on the Saturday, I guess. Notice how everybody's dressed, you know? Yeah. Oh God, yeah. Look at the clouds. I mean, that's what we had all day. Everybody knew that it was going to rain, start sometime overnight. They were all talking about packing up and leaving on Saturday night, or at least being prepared to do so. And some people actually left. Some left right after dinner, before any of the talks or whatever. So, yeah, it was nasty, cold. It was windy and very unpromising. So, that's what I was going to say next. Okay, next. Okay, this just some random shots. Oh, we were just getting ready for our own group shot. Yeah, keep going. Go through go through them quickly here. This is just a bunch of us getting ready. Yeah.
More people added.
Yeah.
Not ready.
Yeah. Notice how it's growing, the number of people. Yeah.
That's the first attempt.
Yeah, the first attempt.
People lost attention.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, here comes.
Yeah, the sign, yeah. Yeah. Keep going. This isn't over yet.
Yeah. It's a process.
Yeah. Somebody blinked. Yeah, you can just go through these quickly now. I think people got the idea. This is, I think, the greatest number of people that actually came for the group shot. And we still missed quite a few, including, where are you, Raghav? An hour later, he said, I missed it. Okay. You notice Shaquille there on the left?
Yep.
He was there. He was actually, he submitted quite a few photos to Starfest. And he actually ended up being the top in several categories. And overall, he was second out of 10. And there were a couple of other Mississauga. Oh, you were here. I didn't even notice you back there lurking in the shadows. Yeah. Congratulations, by the way, to Shaquille. Yes. Also, a couple of other Mississauga Center members, Michael DeLunto, who's not here. He, at least I don't think he's here. And Manuel Guerrero as well. So, yeah. So, okay, I think we're just about done here. Yeah.
Do you normally stack your?
Oh, yeah. This is the banquet. There were about 15 of us there, roughly. Oh, okay, keep going. Yeah. And here we are. This is before the Sarah Seeger talk. Keep going. And there she is. Now, this is somebody else's photos that are in the same group. But for me, when we came out at 10 o'clock, as Raghav said, unexpectedly, it was a beautiful, clear sky, one of the nicest skies I've ever seen there. And most people had all their equipment put away or gone outright. I don't know if anybody actually did any serious observing on Friday night. And although from what I hear, not long after midnight, it started pouring rain. So, and that's it for me.
Okay, just gonna be a few minutes. So how many people did not go to Starfest this year? Show of hands. Okay. All right, so a few. And every Starfest, I've been going since 1988, off and on for a few years. So I've experienced a few of these. Every single one is great. There isn't one that isn't memorable or isn't something that I wouldn't recommend you attend. So I want to thank John and Leslie in particular for communicating to the whole group about Starfest, particularly for the newer members, so they know what it's about, and creating that user group so we can share. That was very useful. People coming up, not knowing where the group was, we can communicate and they could find us and things like that. So that's a real cool thing, because one of the biggest things about Starfest is the social aspect, the camaraderie, the people that we see there, we get to know, we have good conversations with. To me, that's one of the biggest things about Starfest. We're all there with a common interest and we can share that. There were a couple of presentations. I think we talked about a lot of them, but I want to bring up one in particular that struck me. And it was by, and John mentioned it was by Ron Breacher. And he's a really well-known astrophotographer. I think he was one of the judges in the contest, or he has been for several times. His talk was it was called 4 meters and down. And what it was doing photography, astrophotography with a longer focal length telescope. In this case, 3,900 millimeters, which is long. And so he's getting some very narrow field of view of some interesting objects. So he shared some of those with me, but he had one picture in there which totally blew me away. And I actually talked to him about it afterwards, and I questioned him, and I did my own research to see if he was actually telling the truth or not, because it was just, are you kidding me? He had an image of 2 quasars. One of the quasars was 12.8 billion light years away. Okay, so I mean, even Hubble struggled with images like that. You have to go way, way, way down. And he had that. I could not believe that in this day, right now, we're able to record images of that. So what, like I said, every Starfest has its golden nugget. That was my little golden nugget I got from Starfest this year. So anyways, and we had a couple of clear nights. Wednesday night, I came up Wednesday night, and there weren't as many campers. By Friday, it was like you were camping wherever you could. So it's getting more and more crowded at Starfest. So if you're considering going up, like next year, whatever, think about your timing and when you might want to go up. One of the things that's happened, and it was just talking to, I guess, Leslie and Sheila about it, was this year there were a lot more RVs. I don't know what happened. They just had babies and stuff like that, and there was RVs everywhere. It was crazy. We had the Leviathan next to us. It was a monster, had to take up 8 spots, and they parked it there, and it was great. They had a family there enjoying themselves, but like you couldn't camp, right? So anyway, so that's one thing to consider. I think if anybody has feedback for the NYAA, you should put that together. Another thing was the porta potties, which they had a lack of in our area, and you had to go travel with a cart to get there anyway. So a couple of little nitpicky things, but they're important in terms of making your stay there enjoyable. However, it's still an excellent, the vendors, there were deals to be had, swap tables, a lot of great presentations. We had a couple of clear nights of, observing, not as much as I'd like. I think for each night, maybe one night we had 4 hours of clear skies, and the next night maybe 2.5, and then the last one was a couple hours, I think, on the Saturday night. I wasn't there on the Saturday night, but anyways. Anyways, I took this photograph. Anyways, this is still working on this one, but that was taken, I guess 2-hour integration time and stuff like that. But it's so much nicer the skies there than they are around here. So you can do things anyways. And that's it, basically. All right. Thank you.
Question.
Yes, sir.
The equipment that he was using to take the picture of quasars.
Yeah.
It's a special lens apparatus? What?
14-inch. It was a 14-inch Celestron.
Okay.
So native focal length. I think he was using an expensive full frame camera.
Okay.
QHY model 600M, which is their biggest, baddest camera you can get. So he had very small pixels, you get high resolution. I'm not sure what other techniques he used, but he must have used some. That had to be integrated over a long period of time to be able to get that. I couldn't believe that you could get images like that, but he showed us some stuff that was just out of this world. So yeah, it's amazing what amateur is able to do.
Yeah.
Amazing.
14-inch.
Yeah, 14-inch telescope. A big scope, but not Hubble, right? So anyways. I don't know. All right, that's it. Thank you.